Why I don't use a single manifesting technique, not one, and still get absolutely every bit of money I want. That's what we're diving into today. Because let me tell you, I speak to hundreds of people every month, sometimes more, and you all fall into the same trap. I need to script. I need to journal every morning. I need to say my affirmations 55 times. I need to do the 369, the 555. Oh, I need to tap while visualizing. Wait, I forgot to blow cinnamon into my doorway on the first of the month. And my all-time favorite, someone on TikTok told you to whisper rabbit rabbit before bed for abundant cash flow. Honestly, I thought I was going to fall off my chair. Please. In a minute, I'll tell you what me and the universe really think about all of this. Because this, right here, isn't another use this secret method video. It's a shift, a full reset. If you're tired of doing everything and still seeing zero movement in your finances, then stay with me, because something's about to unlock. And as you're listening, drop this in the comments to lock it in. It's already mine. Write it, feel it, let it land. That's your moment of ownership. Not hope, not trying, having. Because from this point on, we're not hoping for money. We're not begging. We're not chasing. We're receiving. So if you're ready to stop trying to manifest money and actually start having it, this is the video that shows you how. Let's get into it. So let's get honest. You've done the journaling, you've repeated the affirmations, you've tried the scripting, the visualization, the guided meditations, the sound frequencies. You've set alarms on your phone to repeat "I am rich" every hour on the hour. You've forced yourself to smile while saying things you don't believe. You've even pretended to feel grateful when deep down you were frustrated, stressed, and broke. And after all that, the money still didn't come. Not the kind of money that changes your life. Not the kind that gives you freedom. Not the unexpected 5-figure transfer. Not the "I can finally breathe" type of money. Just small things. Maybe someone buys you a coffee or you get a little refund, but nothing major. Nothing that lasts. And deep down, you've probably wondered, why am I doing all of this if nothing is really changing? You're not lazy. You've been doing the work. But here's the truth. All that doing isn't what creates money. Money doesn't respond to how hard you try. It doesn't care about how perfectly you follow someone else's process. Money responds to how natural you feel about receiving it. Read that again. Not how badly you want it, not how desperately you affirm it, but how normal and natural it feels to have it already. That's where the shift happens. Because the truth is, money doesn't need to be attracted. It's already in circulation. The question is, are you letting it in, or are you still trying to force it? If you spend hours trying to manifest, the underlying energy is lack. You're telling yourself, I don't have it yet, so I need to do something to get it. And that energy pushes it further away. But when you stop trying, stop proving, stop efforting, something clicks. You start acting from the place that already has it. You start thinking like someone who's used to wealth. You start choosing differently, speaking differently, showing up differently, and money begins to match that. You might not realize it, but sometimes just a single phrase, spoken with certainty, can shift everything. And for me, it's this one. It's already mine. Those 3 words carry more clarity, more alignment than any journal, ritual, or technique I've ever seen. Say it to yourself. Let it echo. Let it settle. And if you really want to root it deeper, write it in the comments. There's something about putting it in your own words that makes it real. That tells your mind, this isn't a hope, it's a decision. Here's the shift. You don't manifest large sums of money by trying to become a match. You manifest it by deciding that you already are. From that point on, everything starts to rearrange. So instead of obsessing over rituals and techniques, do this instead. Look at your thoughts. Look at what you're affirming all day without even noticing. When you catch yourself saying, I don't know how to pay this, stop, interrupt it, replace it. Say, money is already on the way. Or better yet, it's done. This is how you shift, not by effort, but by alignment. If you're feeling this shift and you know you're done doing things the hard way, click the subscribe button and keep riding this frequency. This is how we do it now. And here's the part no one wants to admit. All those techniques, they're not just tiring, they're addictive, because they make you feel like you're doing something, like you're in control. But what you're really doing is building a routine around not trusting money to show up. You light the candle, you play the audio, you write "I am rich" 55 times. But the entire time in the background, your energy says, "It's not here yet. I hope this works. Please, please let this be the thing." And that's the loop. You do something to fix the lack, but the doing confirms the lack. And so you stay stuck. Not because you're wrong, but because no one ever taught you that money isn't earned through spiritual efforting. Money is not a reward for how many rituals you do. Money is not keeping score. It doesn't care how hard you're trying. Money comes to the version of you who already assumes it's yours, not the one who tries to prove they're ready, not the one who tries to feel abundant 24/7, not the one who needs to fake excitement while feeling fear. Money doesn't want your performance. It wants your presence. And if you can feel what that means, even just for a second, something inside you will begin to unlock. So let's be real. If money were already yours, how would you feel? Not desperate, not searching, not waiting. You'd be calm, light, open. You'd check your phone and smile when it arrived. You wouldn't even be surprised. That's the energy. That's the signal. Not force, not repetition, just ownership. Soft, subtle, natural. The truth is, there's nothing left to try. There's only more to let in. And that's what we're doing from this point on. You're not here to fight for money. You're here to match it. And you do that by clearing out the noise and coming back to something simple. So now that we've cleared the clutter, the question is, if techniques aren't it, what actually works? What do you do when you stop doing everything? Let's talk about it. So now that you've dropped the rituals, the stress, the proving, you're probably wondering, what do I actually do then? There are only two things I use, and I refuse to call them techniques because they don't feel like work. They're natural. They're light. They actually feel good. And most importantly, they bring results. Here's the first one. Start writing lists. Not a journal, not a ritual, a simple notebook, a fresh one just for this. Something that feels exciting to write in, just because you want to. This is not about effort. This is about allowing your desires to land on paper like they've already happened. Write what you want. Big things, small things. Write whatever makes you smile when you read it, but make sure it's money-focused. That's the point here. I want $1,000 to show up out of nowhere. I want to find unexpected cash in my coat pocket. I want a free dinner tonight. I want a random refund. I want $50,000 to land in my account. No explanation, just mine. Write things that make you feel playful, not desperate. Things that feel fun to receive, not things you're trying to earn. And here's what you'll notice. When you do this without pressure, without needing it to happen right now, you'll start to see things from your list appear. Maybe not all at once, but one by one, it'll happen. Fast. Now here's where it gets even better. Every Friday, sit down, open your notebook, and cross off everything that already came to you. That free lunch? Cross it off. That unexpected gift? Cross it off. That surprise transfer? Yep, cross it off. You're not doing this to force results. You're doing it to realize how much money is already showing up for you once you stop chasing it. And if you're consistent, you'll start seeing 70 to 80% of what you wrote come to life in the first week. Not because you forced it, but because you dropped resistance, dropped trying, and chose fun. You don't need to micromanage the how. You don't need to visualize for hours. You just need to be aware of what's showing up and stay open to more. This is how confidence builds. This is how receiving becomes normal. This is how money starts to move. If you're done chasing and finally ready to receive, hit that subscribe button now. Not just to follow, to align, to stay connected to this new way of thinking. So once you've started writing your money desires for fun, not pressure, not proof, just playful receiving, there's one more thing you need to do. And again, this isn't a technique. It's not a system. It's not something to schedule or force. It's something you start to live. You become aware of your thoughts. All day long, you're thinking things that either welcome money in or push it out. And most of the time, you don't even notice you're doing it. So here's what I do. Imagine a screen floating just in front of you, like a ticker at the bottom of a news channel, constantly running your thoughts like subtitles. You're walking down the street and suddenly it scrolls across. I don't know how I'll pay that bill. Money is so tight this month. Clients are ghosting me again. I can't afford that. That right there is your manifesting moment. The thought came in, but it doesn't have to stay. So what do? Cancel it? Replace it? Flip it? Literally say, cancel, delete, not my thought, and drop in something new, something that matches the energy of wealth. Money is already handled. Clients are flowing in. I always have more than I need. Abundance finds me everywhere. It might feel silly at first, but that's only because you're not used to thinking like someone who already has money. This is what changes that. Not a crystal, not a chant, not a meditation. This, right here, is where you stop becoming the old version of you. And you know what? You don't need to be perfect. You'll slip. You'll catch yourself halfway through a sentence. That's fine. The power is in catching it, flipping it, choosing again. Because one thought can shift everything. One assumption can open the door to 5 figures, 10 figures, more. Money moves fast when your thoughts stop pushing it away. And if you're still here, if you're feeling this, click the subscribe button. Stay in this space. Stay connected. This frequency, it's where the shift actually happens. Now, there's one final piece. The part no one talks about, but without it, none of this sticks. Let's talk about that next. So now you're writing your money list, not from need, but from play. You're watching your thoughts, not from fear, but from power. You're starting to feel the difference already. Not because you added another routine, but because you stopped trying to force what was already meant to be yours. Let that sink in. Money was never something you had to earn spiritually. It was only something you had to stop blocking. And this is how you do it. Not by doing more, but by returning to the truth that everything you're asking for is already aligned with you. You don't need another book. You don't need another challenge. You don't need a new trick. You just need to build unshakable confidence in one simple fact. Money comes to me because I said so. Read that again. Money comes to me because I said so. That's the part most people miss. They think confidence comes after the money shows up. But it doesn't work that way. The confidence comes first. Then the money has no choice but to follow. You're not here to hope. You're not here to wait for permission. You're not here to test the waters. You're here to declare. That's the energy that makes money move. That's the energy the universe responds to. When you stop acting like someone trying to get rich and start thinking like someone who already is, everything changes. This is how you manifest without techniques. This is how you become the person money naturally flows to. This is how it starts to show up fast, without stress, without rituals, without overthinking. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being real, about catching yourself in the old patterns and gently choosing a new one, over and over, until it becomes who you are. And the moment that clicks, money begins to move in ways you can't even predict. That's not magic, that's alignment. And if this is resonating, if you're feeling the shift, click the subscribe button. Stay in this space. Let it anchor. Let it deepen. Because the next time money shows up, you won't say, "Oh my God, How did this happen? You'll say, of course. That's just how it works now. There's a moment in this process when something shifts for good. Not because something dramatic happens, not because you received a huge payout, but because you finally stop chasing and you start knowing. It's quiet, it's internal, but it's unmistakable. You stop thinking like someone who's trying to get money, and you start thinking like someone who knows that money shows up, because it always does. That's where everything begins to change. Not just what you attract, but how you carry yourself. Suddenly you're not doubting if the payment will come. You're expecting it. You're not obsessing over how the bill gets paid. You're relaxed, calm, because somewhere deep inside, you just know. It's handled. That's the power of becoming a person who receives, not begs, not bargains, receives. So when those old thoughts pop up, what if it doesn't happen? Or, what if I'm blocked? You don't spiral anymore. You smile. You cancel. You replace. That's not who I am now. That's not my timeline. Money flows to me because I said so. You build that voice until it becomes louder than the doubt, not through force, but through repetition of truth. And that's the difference. The old you repeated affirmations hoping to believe them. The new you repeats decisions because they're already real. Let's keep this simple. You are someone who money listens to. You are someone who doesn't need to prove your worth. You are someone who doesn't wait anymore. Say this out loud if it resonates. Money comes to me because I decided it does. And if that hit, write it in the comments. Not for me, for you. Let it land. This is how you rewire your receiving identity. This is how large sums of money show up without effort. Not because you did a ritual right, but because you started thinking like someone who already has it. Let it feel natural. Let it feel light. We're not here to create stress in the name of abundance. We're not here to perform our way into worthiness. We're here to allow. Because that's all money ever needed. A clear signal, no noise, and someone willing to say, yes, I receive. And from this point on, it's not about trying anymore. It's about remembering. Remembering that money was never something you had to chase. It was never something you had to earn through effort or impress with rituals. It was always responding to your state. When you were stressed, it stayed away. When you were calm, it came in. When you were begging, it paused. When you owned it, it moved. You've now stopped confusing effort with power. You've stopped performing for the universe. You've stopped doubting whether you're aligned. Because now, you know. And that changes everything. So now, you've let it go. All the overthinking, all the pressure, all the effort you thought you needed to make money come. And in its place, clarity, simplicity, power. You're not forcing anything. You're not waking up wondering which technique to try today. You're not searching for signs that you're getting closer. Because you finally understand. There's no closer when it already belongs to you. That's the shift. Not louder thoughts. Not more spiritual performance. Just quiet confidence. This version of you doesn't check the mirror for validation. You don't need proof. You already carry the knowing. Money moves for me. Wealth responds to me. It's all catching up to who I already am. And yes, things will still show up now and then. Old thoughts, old patterns. From this place, money doesn't feel like a fantasy. It feels natural, obvious, inevitable. You wake up expecting good news. You refresh your account expecting new digits. You walk into the day knowing you're supported. Not hoping, knowing. This is who you are now. Someone who doesn't try to manifest money. Someone who doesn't chase wealth through techniques or timelines. Someone who doesn't shrink when it's time to receive. You speak like it's done. You move like it's done. You think like it's done. And when the old patterns whisper, what if it's not working? You don't engage. You breathe. You pause. And you respond with, that's not me anymore. That's not my frequency. I know how this ends. You choose again, and money listens. That's the shift. It's not louder. It's not busier. It's not more spiritual. It's quieter, stronger, clearer. This is the version of you that money recognizes. The one that doesn't ask. The one that doesn't hope. The one that simply knows. And when you know, the world rearranges. So take this in. Let it settle. Let it be simple. From this moment on, there's nothing more you need to do. No new method. No perfect mood. No proof. Just your decision. Just your energy. Just your yes. Because when it's a yes in you, it becomes a yes around you. Not instantly. Not always the same day. But steadily. Consistently. And often in ways you never could have planned. When you're in the old mindset, you think money comes from effort, from convincing, from proving, from constantly needing to be in the right state. But when you shift into this new space, you realize money was always looking for ease. It was always trying to land. But your energy was moving too fast, too frantic, too uncertain. Now, it's different. Because this new version of you doesn't over-explain, doesn't second-guess, doesn't rehearse worthiness before asking. This version just knows. And that knowing carries power. Real, felt, magnetic power. You walk into a room and it follows. You say yes to something and the support shows up. You think about receiving and the channel opens. Not because you did a technique, but because your frequency is clear. And when your frequency is clear, life stops blocking you. You stop blocking yourself. And money finally gets the signal. It's safe to show up now. And it does. Unexpected transfers, surprise refunds, higher paying clients, new offers, overflow. Opportunities that sound like, I don't know why, but I thought of you for this. I want to gift this to you. Let's go bigger on this deal. That's the effect of alignment. Not effort, not struggle. Alignment. So if you've been carrying the story that it takes time, that it has to be hard, that you need to clear everything before money can show up, let this be the moment that story ends. Let it end here. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to stop believing in the delay. Let receiving be your new normal. Let wealth be your new rhythm. Let money be something you expect, not something you fight for. And when resistance tries to come back, because it might, don't panic. Don't spiral. Just pause, breathe, and say, that's the old story. That's not me anymore. I don't do panic. I don't do pressure. I don't do lack. Then come back to your yes. Your calm yes. Your grounded yes. The yes that doesn't need proof. And this is where things start moving faster. Because when you're not questioning, things don't stall. When you're not testing, things don't delay. When you're not chasing, things don't run. They arrive. And they arrive because you are now the version of you that holds the door open for money, not slams it shut with fear. You're the version that doesn't perform. You don't need to manifest with effort. You are the manifestation. And money knows that now. It sees the clarity. It hears the yes. And it follows. So this is where you stay. Not just for the moment, but going forward. You stay in the knowing. You stay in the decision. You stay in the frequency that says, it's already mine. It's always been mine. And I'm not waiting anymore. Let money adjust to you. Let the world match your pace. Let your energy set the tone from here on out. You don't have to get ready. You already are. So walk like it. Speak like it. Think like it. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.